Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery Podcast, the place for scrappy entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran and former brick-and-mortar boutique owner who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. Raise your hand if you think the number one thing you need to focus on right now in your business is getting more traffic. You're posting on social, working on SEO, maybe even running ads. You're basically doing every single thing you can think of to get more traffic to your website because logically, more traffic equals more sales, right? In most cases, yes, you probably do need more traffic. And when I'm working with clients one-on-one or with lounge members, at the end of the day, the math usually says they need more traffic. And I love me some math. I love that growing your e-commerce business often boils down to one big math problem. But that doesn't come without a little nuance. One of my favorite things about retail, whether in-store or online, is that it is the perfect blend of art and science. And that's probably why I got hooked on retail almost 30 years ago. Whatever it is about my brain or personality, I need that mix to stay interested and engaged. All that to say, while I absolutely love data and am hellbent on teaching my clients and students to use it to grow their business, we can't ignore the less tangible aspects of running a business. And that's what I want to talk about today, because ignoring these concepts could be costing you serious money. The first thing you need to master as a business owner is the psychology of why people buy. I know this isn't the first time you've heard this, and it's certainly not the first time I've talked about it. But I also know that as we get deeper into the doing of running a business, tweaking our website, sending emails, figuring out ads, it is way too easy to lose sight of this fundamental truth. At the end of the day, people do not buy products. They buy solutions to their problem and to avoid pain. They buy status and the feeling of exclusivity. They buy belonging, a connection to a group or identity. They buy joy, self-improvement, security, nostalgia. And if your marketing isn't tapping into one or more of these, you are making people work way too hard to justify buying from you. Think about luxury brands. Nobody buys a Rolex because they need to tell time. They buy it because it signals success. It's a statement, a flex, a status symbol. It tells the world, I've made it. Nike doesn't just sell sneakers. Their entire brand is built on the idea that if you wear Nike, you're an athlete, you're driven, you push past your limits. They don't market their shoes, they market the mindset of a champion. And that's what separates brands that grow effortlessly from those that struggle. Because the businesses that thrive aren't just selling products, they're selling a transformation. And that's where a lot of small e-commerce businesses fall flat. They focus too much on the features, the materials, the sizing, the specs, and not enough on the feelings their products create. So if you want to make a better impression on your customers to increase conversion and keep your customers coming back, you need to start asking, what does my product help people become? What emotions does it trigger? What story is my brand telling customers about who they are when they buy from me? Because that's the secret to making your brand irresistible. So let's look at a few practical ways to make this happen. Build desire before they even see your product page. If people are landing on your website cold and seeing a bunch of products with standard descriptions, that's probably not going to cut it. The big brands build hype first. Think about Apple. Every time they drop a new iPhone, they don't just release it quietly. They build months of anticipation. They create sleek teaser ads. They hint at just enough new features to make you think, oh, I need that. Small brands can do this too. Before you even launch a product, start telling stories about it on social media and in email. Show behind the scenes footage, tease the inspiration behind it. And if you can get it in the hands of a few core people, share those customer reactions before the product is available. Create demand before they ever hit your website. And don't forget to use emotional copywriting. Most product pages say stuff like made with high quality organic cotton, durable and long lasting, available in 3 colors. That's cool, but so what? We need to make people feel something with our copy. Instead of saying made with high quality organic cotton, you can say so soft you'll never want to take it off. Instead of saying durable and long lasting, say built to outlast all of your adventures. Instead of available in 3 colors, say pick your power color. Are you classic, bold, or a little rebellious? See the difference? The first version, very functional. The second makes you imagine the experience of owning it. And leverage identity-based marketing. People don't just buy things because they like them. They buy things that reinforce who they believe they are. That's why people who love the outdoors are drawn to Patagonia, because it stands for environmental activism and sustainability. That's why Jeep owners don't just buy a car. They buy into a lifestyle of adventure and freedom. Owning a Jeep isn't just about having a vehicle. It's about being part of the Jeep community, the kind of person who takes the top off and heads off-road at a moment's notice. That's why they have a Jeep Wave, an actual unspoken rule where Jeep owners acknowledge each other on the road. It's not just a car, it's an identity. And my teenage boyfriend was a Jeep driver. That Wave is real. So what's the identity your brand is reinforcing? Are you helping customers feel more powerful, more stylish, more responsible, more adventurous? Figure that out, and suddenly your product isn't just a product. It's an extension of who they are. Another mistake a lot of small businesses make is selling a product, not a brand. Nike, Adidas, Converse, they all sell shoes that functionally do the same thing. They protect your feet. They support your arch. Well, maybe not the Converse. And they help you move faster. So why do some brands dominate the market while others struggle to gain traction? Because they aren't just selling products, they're selling distinction. Nike sells a competitive mindset. Adidas blends performance with culture. Converse sells self-expression and timeless cool. Each of these brands has a clear point of view that sets them apart. Now compare that to your business. Are you giving people a reason to choose you over everyone else? And before you panic and think, I don't have a massive brand story like Nike or Adidas, let me remind you, sometimes being small is the thing that sets you apart. Customers don't always want the biggest company. Sometimes they want a real person answering their questions instead of an AI chatbot. A business that actually listens to their feedback and makes changes. A founder who's been in their shoes and understands their needs better than a faceless corporation ever could. Maybe you're a makeup brand for people with sensitive skin, and your customers trust you because you've personally struggled with skin issues. Maybe you're a coffee company that only sources from small farms, and your customers love that they're supporting sustainable growers. Or maybe you've been on a journey that you can now teach to your audience through really kick-ass educational content that keeps them engaged and loyal to your brand. Your differentiator doesn't have to be flashy, it just has to be clear. Because if your messaging, branding, and marketing don't clearly communicate what makes you different, better, or worth remembering, then you're competing on price. And competing on price is a race to the bottom. So far, we've talked about giving people a reason to choose you, setting yourself apart from the competition, and getting them excited to buy from you. But a lot of the time, small businesses assume that once a customer is interested, the hard part is over. They wait for people to buy instead of guiding them toward the sale. Big brands don't sit back and hope customers will buy. They don't wait until sales dip to start marketing. They don't react to problems. They anticipate them and stay ahead. That's why the biggest brands that have likely already captured as big a market share as they can possibly get still run ads, and at events like the Super Bowl, which are extremely expensive. It's all to stay top of mind and be proactive. And as small business owners, a lot of us are running our marketing like a game of whack-a-mole. You see a drop in sales, you send out a discount code. You notice customers aren't coming back, so you send a "Hey, we miss you" email. You realize abandoned carts are a problem, so you set up an abandoned cart email. And listen, there is absolutely a time and place for reactive marketing. You should be paying attention to data, spotting trends, fixing gaps when they show up. But the businesses that win aren't just reacting. They're predicting. They're guiding customers before that customer even realizes they need something. Amazon knows when you're going to run out of toilet paper before you do. Starbucks knows exactly when to nudge you with a free drink before you start thinking about trying a new coffee shop. These brands aren't playing defense. They're playing offense, and you can too. One of the easiest ways to start is by using predictive marketing tools that help you anticipate customer behavior. If you're using Klaviyo and have enough data, you can predict when a customer is likely to reorder. Instead of waiting for them to go cold, you can send the right message before they disappear. Don't have the predicted date of next sale metric yet? That's okay. Look at your average repurchase cycle and set up an automation that sends before they churn. You can also create segmented follow-ups based on how people shop. Someone who buys every month shouldn't necessarily get the same emails as someone who hasn't shopped in 6 months. Your best customers should get VIP treatment before they even think about shopping somewhere else. But proactive marketing isn't just about keeping your current customers on their standard repeat buying cycle. It's also about making sure new customers are coming in consistently and giving your existing customers a new reason to shop, which leads us to demand generation. Demand generation comes in multiple forms. Sure, it could look like running ads to get your brand in front of new customers or partnering with a complementary brand to leverage their audience. But it also looks like creating marketing campaigns that encourage consumers to shop when they weren't otherwise thinking about it. Things like new product launches, I love those. Seasonal marketing campaigns, limited editions, special bundles. You get the gist. We've talked a ton about these on other episodes of the podcast, so I'm going to stick links to those in the show notes for you. But remember that, in the words of one of my clients, sometimes you gotta add a little sparkle to get them to buy. Last but certainly not least, one of the gaps in your marketing strategy is that you are forgettable. If I say Red Souls, what brand comes to mind? Usable water bottle with a cult following. Are you thinking Stanley Cups or Hydro Flask? That's brand stickiness. It's what makes a brand so recognizable, so distinct, that customers automatically think of them when they need something. They don't have to be reminded. They don't have to search around or compare options. And that's exactly what I want for your brand. But a lot of small businesses miss this, and mostly because they probably think it doesn't apply to them. Or maybe you think branding is just a logo and a color scheme. But as we've been talking about, branding is how you make people feel. It's the reason someone remembers you. It's why customers will spend more for an Apple laptop when a cheaper PC could do the same job. It's why people will wait months for a new Birkin bag instead of buying a similar one instantly from someone else. Branding isn't just about what you sell, it's about how people experience you. So if your marketing feels forgettable, if customers are buying from you once and then disappearing, it's time to ask, what am I doing to stay in their minds? How am I making my brand an experience instead of just another online store? Because if customers forget about you, they're probably not coming back. But you don't have to be a big brand to create brand stickiness. Instead of just selling products, think about how you can create rituals, habits, and exclusivity that keep your customers engaged. Sephora is a great example. Sephora customers get access to discounts, but only if they're part of the loyalty program. And the higher tier you are, the better the discount you get, the more sales you have access to, and the more perks. These perks and sales are not just a sale, it's a goal. Customers stay engaged all year long so that they can hit those upper tiers and get better rewards. So, can you make your brand a habit? Think about how Starbucks turned its app into a daily habit. The more you use it, the more rewards you earn, the more likely you are to choose Starbucks over another coffee shop. Literally every game app does this too, right? You get daily rewards for showing up every day. How can you create something similar? If you sell skincare, can you create a morning routine challenge to encourage daily use of your product so they run out and then they come back and buy more? If you sell fitness gear, can you build a 30-day workout challenge that makes your brand a part of their daily life? If you sell candles, can you position them as a Sunday reset ritual to start the week fresh? The goal is to make your brand part of your customers' routine so they keep coming back without you having to remind them. Can you create a signature experience? Think about Glossier. Their products aren't wildly different from other beauty brands, but they made their pink bubble wrap pouch part of the unboxing experience. Now, when people see that pink pouch, they immediately associate it with Glossier. There's even an entire Reddit thread from customers so upset because they ordered online and they didn't get their pink pouch, even though they were supposed to. People really care about the pink pouch. Small brands can do this too. Can you create a signature packaging experience that customers recognize instantly? Can you surprise and delight them with a personalized element like a handwritten note, a recipe card, or a styling tip? Can you give them a free gift like a product sample, or a gift with purchase like a pink pouch? It doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be consistent. And reward loyalty in a meaningful way. Your repeat customers are worth so much. And while it's so important to keep getting new first-time customers, the true value comes when they turn into repeat customers. Big brands reward loyalty, and you can easily do that too. And it doesn't always have to be points or discounts. It can be a thank you email with a personal message. It can be a VIP list for people to get early access to new products. It can be a freebie or an exclusive gift for your best customers. Customers really just want to feel seen and appreciated, and if you can make them feel that way, they will stick around. And inject more of you into your brand. As a small business, getting personal with your customers is a superpower. If you inject more of your own personality into your brand, your customers will start to relate to you beyond just the products you sell. If people see a reference to dressing in all black, black cats, or the show Friends, my clients and audience thinks of me. And I know that because they tell me, they message me, they email me, oh, I just saw XYZ, whatever, a meme, something like that. So think about what are the parts of your personality that you can share and connect with your audience on. The goal here is to make your brand unforgettable. And branding isn't just about looking good. It's about connecting with your people, staying top of mind. So when someone needs what you sell, your brand is the first one they think of. So ask yourself, what's going to make my customers remember me? The brands that win are not just selling products. They're sticking in people's minds long after that first purchase. So what are your next steps? Where do you go from here? Well, start by asking yourself these questions. What am I selling beyond just a product? Do customers feel emotionally connected to my brand? Am I doing anything to make my brand more sticky? Do customers remember me or do I fade into the background? Am I reacting to problems or am I predicting what customers need before they realize they need it? The better experience you create and the more proactive you become, the more successful you will be. Take some time to journal on these. Look through your customer reviews. Look at some of your data because that will tell you how loyal your customers are, how often they shop with you, how often they come back, and really let you know if you are doing these things successfully or not. Ask AI. If you have the AI brand brief and you've gone through that exercise, ask AI what you can do to do these things better. now that it understands who you are as a brand and who your customers are. You're not going to solve all of this in one sitting. That's okay. And these are things that you're going to revisit regularly anyway. I just want to make sure you're thinking about them. If you need more support around the marketing piece of your business and some of the things that we talked about, check the show notes for links to other episodes where I go deeper into the strategies I mentioned today. If you found this episode or any of my episodes helpful, don't forget to tell a biz friend, follow the show on your favorite podcast player, and leave a review. And that, my friends, is a wrap on this week's episode. As always, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more about growing your e-commerce business, get started with my free resource library at ecommercebadassery.com/free stuff and get an invite to the Lounge, my e-commerce marketing membership. When you're ready for one-on-one support, apply to work with me at ecommercebadassery.com/apply. Before you go, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a rating and review and tap that follow button. This pushes me up the chart so I can support more scrappy e-commerce entrepreneurs just like you. I'm on a mission to reach as many as I can, and I could really use your help. Thanks so much in advance. Until next time, e-commerce friend, stay badass.